Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's Stories of Yonko back here with another video. And look, this topic is brought up all the time, even though we'll never know the answer to it. But the question is, could LeBron James have played in the 90s, 80s, or the 70s? Particularly the 90s, right? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. No doubt about it. I don't want you guys to get anything twisted with my channel. I am not a bronsexual. I am not one of these fans that are just amazed by LeBron or anything like that. But I'm also not a LeBron hater. You feel me? I don't sit up on YouTube angry, all in the camera, yelling, LeBron James and not, you know what I'm talking about. But listen, man, these guys be so angry about a guy that don't even know they exist. It's hilarious. But listen, man, and they really convince themselves that somehow LeBron is watching their videos. He's not. But listen, man, we cross-reference generations all the time, and it usually comes from the older generation or the younger generation will say, oh, if this player played today, they wouldn't be getting no buckets. They'll be a role player, all this other stuff. And then with the older generation, they'll say like, you know, my player would have averaged like 50 points, 100 points or something like that. You feel me? Jive turkey. No, I'm just playing. But basically, you know, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. I am a firm believer that great players are going to be great in any era. And a lot of people always leave out the fact that whenever you are born, you will adapt to those conditions, no matter if it's in life, you know, sports, whatever. You always adapt to the rules, the conditions of the game, or whatever like that. People just want to make it seem like you can drop this player here and then automatically just plug and play. And that's just not how it goes, you know. Certain mentalities are different, you know, certain conditions are different, certain training is different, nutrition is different. And, you know, we just gotta give credit where credit is due to all these great players. I feel like Bill Russell could play in today's game. He was one of the greatest athletes of all time, not just in the NBA, of all time. You feel me? Wilt Chamberlain could play in today's game. You feel me? I feel like LeBron James could play in their era and be dominant. You feel me? I know a lot of guys don't want to admit that, but when you're a great player, when you look at LeBron James, like, look at all he's been able to achieve. Sure, people talk about him flopping now, but that's because he's a product of his environment. He's a product of the rules. If LeBron knew that he couldn't benefit from flopping, prime LeBron would just go and run over people. People would call it, you know, offensive foul today or something like that. But back then, you guys would have said like, oh, this is just how the game is played. You feel me? Like, don't be soft or something like that, right? It was a lot tougher back in my era. You feel me? Niggas got shot and then went and played 52 minutes. You feel me? like something like that. But basically, you know, LeBron James, he would have been able to compete with those guys also. There's no telling how many rings he would have won or anything like that because we don't know what team he would have been drafted to, what year, anything like that, late 80s or something like that. We don't know. But all I can say is that LeBron James in the game that he's been able to translate into today's game, you know, this season, where he's shooting like 39% from three, these players have to get better at three-point shooting as they get older, like a Brook Lopez, Al Horford, LeBron James. You have to improve your three-point shooting so you can become a threat out on the perimeter. So, you know, teams aren't just leaving you wide open like Russell Westbrook sometimes and Ben Simmons. You feel me? You have to be a threat. And even those players have gotten better with their three-point shooting. Not Ben Simmons. He doesn't attempt them. But Russell Westbrook has improved his three-point shooting. He's shooting at 30 on the season, but he's still a threat down the stretch to hit those shots. He's going to make them. But the issue is a lot of people believe that someone like LeBron James, he only could play in today's game. LeBron played in the hand-checking era. You know, LeBron James played when defense was still defense in the NBA, as you guys would call it, right? And he survived through it. He was an all-star through it. He was great through it, right? That's what he did. So why would I not believe that LeBron could not play in the 90s or the 70s or something like that? He would have been brought up during different rules. He would have had a different mentality. No super teams or anything like that. He probably could have gotten some championships out of it. You got to realize LeBron is a specimen. You feel me? Dominant. Look how long he's lasted. Now, I don't think that he would have lasted as long because, you feel me, certain things and stuff like that, Tristan Thompson, but but basically, you feel me? LeBron James would have definitely been dominant in that era because you are who you are. You are what you are. Steph Curry as well. Kyrie Irving as well. The players like Damian Lillard, no, I don't think he could play there. I'm just being real. I think a player like Joel Embiid could have played great in the 90s because he would have been forced. He would have been forced to get out the mud. He wouldn't be waiting around for free throws and stuff like that. That goes back to the mentality change that I'm talking about. You know, when we cross-reference generations like Michael Jordan today, Michael Jordan would still be a mid-range assassin because you have the DeMar DeRozans, the KDs, and stuff like that. But he would have been taking a lot more pull-up threes, and he would have been looking to get more foul calls. Regardless if you guys want to accept that, yes, he would have. Kobe as well. You know, if Kobe was just coming into the league, you feel me? He would still have the athleticism, all this stuff. But you got to realize these guys, it would be so hard for them to break through and get those opportunities depending on where they were drafted at because you have more skilled guys coming into today's game to where they're athletic as hell. You feel me? They're strong. You feel me? They can shoot the three, the midi, whatever like that. So you pretty much have to outcompete all those guys to get opportunity. You feel me? Look at Victor Wembanyama, Chet Holmgren. Like, these guys are unicorns. And, you know, nobody's competing with Wemby right now in the Rookie of the Year race. Regardless if people say it's Chet, it's not. It's Wemby. And then it's everyone else. You feel me? So, and even within his class, you have Keontae George. Great prospect. You feel me? But it's like he's not getting the max opportunity that he can. Even though he's highly skilled and he's a good player. You got Jordan Hawkins can shoot the hell out the three over there in New Orleans. But because of the politics and stuff like that, he's still a rookie. He's not getting as much opportunity as he should. Even though he's the best three-point shooter on their team. So it's like, it just depends on opportunity. But if Michael Jordan was the number one overall pick, I think that he would have an opportunity like an Anthony Edwards. Because people say, oh, the games are mine, this and all that. I think MJ like is way better. Like, but it's basically like the modern day MJ, and that's no disrespect to MJ. I'm just saying, like, as an example of what he could be possibly today, but slightly better. You feel me? Anthony Edwards. And certain players, like from the older generation, you put in today's game, regardless if y'all feel negatively about Ben Simmons was a modern day Magic Johnson. Not nearly as good because of the difference in generations. If you drop Ben Simmons, a healthy Ben Simmons, into the 90s, the nigga's he's going crazy. You feel me? He's going crazy. It just depends on your perspective, the rules, when they're born, where you drop them at. So when we say, can LeBron James be successful in the 80s, 70s, 90s? Absolutely, bro. Why do we lie to ourselves and make it seem like he's not an all-time great? Why do we make it seem like he couldn't compete with Jordan, Barkley? You feel me? Couldn't compete with all of them. He could. Malone, he could. You drop Jerry West in today's game, like, he's going crazy. He's going crazy. It's just like when we talk about this cross-reference stuff, great players are going to be great in every era. Opportunity changes everything. You got certain players, like say Giannis might be relegated to just a center, but he will be a dominant ass center. You feel me? Like, you know, like, it's just, the things are different today. Players are asked to do more, so they're able to do more. That's the reason why you got guys coming into the league with more skill sets. And you'll see a player like, say, Mikal Bridges, right? Like, 3-and-D was how he got into the league, but now he's being asked to do more and create off the dribble more. And at times he struggled with it because it's like he's not this isolation scorer, but he's being asked to be that not late into his career, but so deep into his career now. You feel me? And now he has to develop a different skill set. But you have guys coming into the league with that skill set. You had guys that came into the league back then with that skill set. It's about what you're developed to be. And who knows what LeBron would have been developed to be back then? Like, we don't know. Would he still be a point forward? You feel me? Would he be a pure point guard or something like that, like Magic Johnson? You know, would he, like, I don't think he would be a small power forward or anything like that. But basically, we don't know what LeBron James would have been. LeBron James probably could have had a deeper bag, a greater handle, or something like that. We don't know. It depends on what training camps he was in, training programs, and how he came up. This idea that players from the past can't play in today's game, and players, like today's game can't play in the past, like, it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. Jokic, oh my God, would be killing niggas. Luka would be killing niggas, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. James Harden, prime James Harden. Like, you feel me? Like, you take some of those players from back then. Charles Barkley, if Zion can play in today's game, Charles Barkley could play in today's game, bruh. Shaq could play in today's game. They would have to improve on their three-point shooting, or, you feel me, like mid-range shooting a little bit to be a threat as far as shooting. But you got players like Nick Claxton who don't shoot as much, who still can be impactful. That's what I'm saying. You got Jonas Valanciunas, he can shoot the three. Like, he's not too quick on his feet, but it's like, basically, he's dominant as hell. In the post, out on the perimeter, he can do it all. He can rebound. He's a threat. So if these players are thriving today, yes, the players of old can thrive today. I'm not too sure about Bob Cousy. We always talk about Bob Cousy, but I don't know about Bob Cousy. So I'm not going to say much about Bob Cousy, all right? That's a lot of Bob Cousy. But listen, man, these players like Dr. J, oh my God. You feel me? What? Dr. J today? Bro, Dr. J would be, like, with these rules, Dr. J, if he was a gifter, like, Dr. J could average 35 points. Easy. So I'm saying, bro, I'm not just going to poo-poo on the older generation. I love Dr. J, man. But it's just, when we want to talk about LeBron and all these other players, I'm pretty much using LeBron as a backdrop to talk about all these other stuff for, clickbait purposes. But pretty much all these players that I brought up, they could play in either generation, bro. It don't matter. I know you guys want to feel like it's only a one-way street where, okay, we've seen them do this in this tough era and hand checking and defenses and stuff like that. They are a product of their generation. And if the players of today were born back then, they would be a product of their generation as well. If the players like Allen Iverson, Kobe, Shaq, if they were born in the 2000s, they'll be a product of the generation today. They would be flopping sometimes. They will be looking for free throws. You feel me? That just happens, man. It depends on, once again, like I said in the other video, when you were born. Let's stop disrespecting the older generation, and the older generation stop disrespecting the younger generation. Sorry, my mouth is dry. I've been talking a lot, goddammit. But basically, pause. What? Pause, nigga. What? Pause. But basically, that's all I got to say in this video, man. Disrespect both generations. And, I would love to see how these players play today, back then, but we'll never know. So that's all I got to say. Peace.